Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd, and it's time once again for a Q&A, this time sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the place where you can set up a website, a domain, an online store. They got a bunch of different templates, 16 brand new templates to be exact. You can get your domain set up there. They have e-commerce there. It's all in one package, so you don't need to do any plugins. You don't have to learn any code. They have 24-hour customer service. What's really cool is that you can do a free trial on Squarespace, and if you sign up using squarespace.com/Andre, you actually get 10% off your first purchase. I hooked you up there. Squarespace.com/Andre. Thank you for sponsoring the video. If you're looking to put a website together, check it out. I'm also here to celebrate my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. Yes, 10 years ago, I uploaded my very first video on this platform. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a specific Q&A where you got to ask me just about my 10 years of YouTube. And it's so weird that how it's only 10 years and yet I feel like, oh, these kids today with their monetizations. Back in my day, you used to give a video 5 stars. You could use a favorite and you leave a video response at the end of it. You'd have little boxes underneath your video. Your description used to be on the right side of your video. You used to customize your whole YouTube page. You could put like graphics and stuff in the background. It got super busy, and then they made the Cosmic Panda. That panda changed everything. Let's answer some questions. Angel Works asks, what was the first video you uploaded? The first video I uploaded is called I'm a Black Nerd. Uploaded September 13th, 2007. It is still up 10 years later. You can go watch it. At Jackmeister20, what were you thinking of doing before YouTube? Well, before YouTube, I was a computer programmer, so if I would have kept going that route, I probably would have possibly worked for YouTube, but on the other side. I'd be the person you'd be yelling at. And even when I first started doing YouTube, it obviously wasn't a full-time thing to start. It was just a hobby I was doing on the side. So I was still doing some computer work, and I was also auditioning for acting roles in Los Angeles, and I was also doing stand-up comedy and improv, and I still do some of that stuff every now and then. But YouTube became this place where I was just putting content up to be like, well, here's a way to present myself in case someone was interested in me for acting or for stand-up or for improv or for, you know, other performances. And then it just took a life of its own. And now it is what it is today. I didn't even expect it. At Matthew Shell 2, do you remember your first IRL fan interaction? I would probably say San Diego Comic-Con has to be the first time that I distinctly remember a person or a number of people coming up and going, oh, you're that guy from the YouTube thing, the black nerd dude. That was just an interesting experience when that started happening because you see numbers and you just think like, okay, someone's watching, but it's just a bunch of digits. So to actually see actual people in front of your face saying that they watch your content, that was a pretty eye-opening experience for me the first times that it happened. Still actually is. I mean, even today, when someone in person tells me, I watch your stuff and are able to specifically talk about specific videos, specific jokes or whatever, or how they first saw the content or how they first saw me in someone else's video and that's why they tuned in, I still to this day am like humbled by that, so thank you. At V_amazing, was what you planned for your channel the same or has it changed since starting out? Also, congratulations, thank you. I think that it has changed. I think that I've become a little bit more personal on my channel than I was expecting. I was always thinking that this will be a comedy channel, as in a straight up performance for you, black nerd comedy. But I think over time, it started to make more and more sense that it's okay to still be entertaining and still put comedy in your work, but it's okay to also be a little bit personal, whether it's doing something personal but doing it in a comedic fashion or just doing real talk or Q&As like this. So I think that that was something I was not really planning too much of doing. Slowly started becoming more rants and opinions. And then you started seeing more of Andre and not so much of black nerd as a character, which I'm not. This is real. Like like there are people who are still like, you're just pretending, right? This whole black nerd thing is like a thing you put up, like a sham. Really? Curious George is curious if have you ever filmed a video with no underwear? Do you want to if you haven't? I have filmed videos where I wasn't wearing pants because sometimes lights get hot and you're only seeing this part of the body. So if I want to have some underwear on and no pants, who's gonna know? You can't demonetize based on what's going on down below the camera. And just for the record, I'm wearing pants today. Today. At _grew_, something that happened more as a small channel than a bigger channel. By the way, love your stuff, been watching since 2012. All right, don't be offended because this doesn't apply to all of you, but The YouTube comments on my video were a little bit better when I was a smaller channel than when I was a larger channel. Like, the people are nice. They're still nice to this day, but I would say more of the negative, trolling, or just mean-spirited type of comments, or even just people just being confrontational to just be confrontational. Like, hey, I don't necessarily even disagree with what you're saying, but I feel like I need to write a paragraph to disagree with it because I can. Like, I think that I saw more and more as my channel grew. Because the thing about YouTube channels is as you grow, then what happens is sometimes more people see your channel that's never seen your channel before. They might see a video of yours and it's the very first video they've ever seen, even though you've been doing your channel for several years or months or whatever. And sometimes when someone who either doesn't think you're supposed to be at that place or never heard you before or whatever, sees a channel they've never heard of before and then sees the numbers of views or subscribers or whatever that channel has and thinks that channel just came out of nowhere, they either are like questioning of that channel, or sometimes they think that that channel just grew up overnight. Like, there's some people who I talk to who I can tell they think that my channel like came out last year, and I'm just like, oh dude, oh, sit down. Let me tell you a little story. The year was 2007, and a young man decided I'm gonna put a video up talking about Smurfs. So to the people who still write lovely comments all the time on my YouTube videos, I do appreciate it. To those people who love to just come in and troll or say mean things, herp derp, herp derp, herp derp, herp derp. And if you know Google plugins, you get that reference. Thanks, Gerard. The completionist let me know about that one. Look it up, Herp Derp, for YouTube. Look it up. Thomas Broomfield wants to know, what was the best year for you and the worst on YouTube, that is? There was a time period, I don't remember the year, I'm sorry, where I doubled in subscribers in one of the years, and then the following year, I even doubled that number. Like, that time period was really strong for me. And it was, I even remember it was kind of a time where YouTube was kind of going through some changes and adjustments, but for some reason, that time period was like super strong. The views weren't even like crazy high. It's just, there was just this nice consistency of me making videos, people subscribing, people watching, just everything was like a nice, consistent, and huge growth. The time right before it and the time right after it for a short stint, not so much. And now I'm just kind of at a whatever it is, I don't know. But that's going to happen no matter how long you do YouTube or anything. You're gonna have your peaks and valleys. You're gonna have times where just things are just working right and you ride the wave, or you're gonna have times where things kind of dip a little bit or drop and you gotta go, oh, what's changed either internally or externally? And then you gotta make some choices at that point. We all have to do it. We've had to make it with our jobs, with our lives, with our relationships, with anything. Making YouTube videos ain't no different. Jessica wants to know, is there a video you've always wanted to do but haven't done? Some sketches and some music video parodies that I've always wanted to do, or I had ideas to do back in the day that I didn't do because just the concept of trying to do it and the production it would take to try to do it was just farther out than what I would be capable of doing. It would require having a crew, it would require some casting, it would require locations, it would require making music. It just didn't work itself out. I still hope to do that at some point. I still hope to every once in a while say, you know what, let's just figure out a way to make this idea happen, and whenever I have that idea that I'm like, I gotta make this happen, then I will give it a shot. At Sinzu_TH, what keeps you making videos, as in the drive that makes you wake up to feel inspired to make a new video? You know what's funny? Here's where that real talk's gonna come in. Some days I'm like, yes, I'm up in the morning, let's make some YouTube videos. Whoa, I love this life, yay me. And then there are some days where I'm just like, no, why do I do this to myself? And then you get on like Twitter, you're just like, oh God, everything's terrible. I don't even want to leave my bed. Why do I do this to myself? And I go right back into doing this again because it allows me to be creative, whereas those other lifestyles that I've lived before were not as creative. That answered that question, didn't it? At Hero Z, can you say YouTube has changed you? Of course YouTube has changed me. Any major part of your life, like something like this, is going to change how you are. I think that there are ways that I handle my interest and hobbies and nerd culture in general where there are things that have made me even more passionate about things, less passionate about other things. I think I have become more confident in my skin of liking the things that I like. There are ways that socially I have changed. I think I have had to learn to have circles of trust more. That separation between the YouTube work and entertainment life and just Andre, a person. At Ranger comments, what are your plans for the next 10 years on YouTube? Well, it's gonna sound weird, but it's gonna be continuing YouTube, but also understanding that my personality or brand can also expand to other things. So, you know, as some of you know, I've been doing Twitch streams, twitch.tv/BlackNerdComedy. Check it out. I also still host for Regal Cinemas, catching up with Andre. I've done some stuff with Sci-Fi for Comic-Con. I've done Crash Course Games. Just putting yourself in various places, because as cool as YouTube is, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, I love YouTube, I love what I do on YouTube, but be a brand or personality or business of your own that YouTube is a part of, and that has nothing to do, I know there's some recent things that have happened on YouTube that make people feel even more like they need to do that kind of stuff, but I've been saying that stuff even before these changes happen. I think it's just very important because we've seen platforms come and go, or we've seen platforms that have stuck around, but they have changed their focus of what they want to do. And sometimes that will affect you positively, and sometimes they will not. No platform that you are using today is the same as it was when it first started. And it won't be the same as it is now 10 years from now. Or it just disappears like MySpace and Vine. How do I say goodbye? I miss you, Daily Booth. Oh, Rever, where you actually gave me my first paycheck. Rest in peace. Daily Motion is still around though, isn't it? Thank you for these questions, man. This was a lot of fun, man. It's good to sort of give the insight a little bit. A lot of times people don't see the behind the scenes of like what you go through as a creator. You just sometimes just see the final product. So to be able to just give you even a slight insight of what goes on in my brain, you might be a creator who's like, wow, Andre is in a different place than I am, but he goes through the same stuff that I go through. More than likely we do. A lot of creators go through the same problems no matter what level you are. You have the same successes and the same failures and the same hurdles and the same happy moments. A lot of it is very similar. It just maybe happens at different times or on different scales. And for the people who don't make videos and are just watching, your support of the people that make the videos is very, very beneficial and very, very helpful. And as long as the relationship stays that way, where you appreciate what we're doing and we appreciate making the things for you, and neither side gets too demanding about anything, I think that that leads to a wonderful relationship between the creators and the people that watch them create. And as long as I can do that, whether it's YouTube, other platforms, on a street corner, wait, that sounded weird. Whatever way that I can entertain for people who appreciate the entertainment, thank you so much. And I will consider if Awkward Talks with Girls comes back, because I get asked that question all the time. I would love to know how you found out about me. What was the way that you eventually came across the Black Nerd Comedy channel, Andre Black Nerd? Tell me how it happened, because I would love to know, and thank you so much. Here's to 10 years, and here's to 10 more, unless it all gets stopped by the adpocalypse or the apocalypse. But some apocalypse might be showing up at some point. But until then, I'm riding that wave while I can. Cowabunga! I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000, chain chomp, yelp.